Hello everyone, and welcome to the Influencer Barbie channel. We have Miss Barbie Roberts, and I am Barbie's assistant. My name is Beverly, and I am an adult Barbie enthusiast. Welcome to our Barbieverse. We create content for people who love all things Barbie as much as we do. Now, I just recently heard that Five Below had a new holiday party teeny tiny set, and so of course I had to go and get that. I actually ordered these from the Five Below website, and so my package for the holiday party is a bit damaged, but I think that the minis inside look good. And I have a few other sets that I wanted to show you that I got at the same time. We have the Teeny Tinies Farmers Market. We also have the Teeny Tinies Charcuterie Board, and we reviewed the Make It Mini 2024 holiday minis that were for the charcuterie board in a previous video. So I am going to try to link that video with this one so that you can have a look and compare the two charcuterie boards. We also have a Greek food set, which looks really good, especially that Mediterranean salad there. We also have a sweet shop, so lots of tasty sweets for Barbie and her family. And the last one is called the 90s Lunchbox. And I'll show you the scale on all these different items, and you can already see that this thermos and the lunchbox are a bit large for Barbie or for any of her sisters. But once we get all of these unboxed, I'll show you everything in greater detail. So I am going to unbox everything off camera because some of these may take a little bit of work to get out of their boxes and plastic. So we'll be back in just a little bit. And we're back. We've got everything unboxed and ready to show to you. And I also wanted to show you this cute little sign that I picked up with the rest of these items at Five Below. And I'm not certain if I mentioned this at the beginning of our video, but all of these teeny tinies are from Five Below, and so they each cost $5. So it's nice and affordable miniatures. And I picked up this sign for our executive producers, Midnight and Shadow. I think it's very appropriate for them because that is the attitude that they have a lot of the time. And they are currently lounging in the Barbie studio, also known as my guest bedroom. So we'll get started showing everything to you. And one nice thing about these teeny tiny sets is that they do tell you what everything is on the back of the box, which is handy because some of these things I was looking at and wondering, what is that supposed to be? So this is nice and handy. And you also do get a little backdrop with each of these sets that you could use in making a Barbie diorama or taking pictures. So that's handy. So let's take a look at everything that we got in the set. And first and foremost, we have what they call the cookie making setup. This is one piece. It's made to look like the dolls are rolling out their cookie dough and cutting cookies with cookie cutters. So that will look really nice on the counter in the Barbie house while we're doing some cooking. We also have mince pies. And I'm wondering, let me know in the comments below if you've ever tried mince pies and do you like them? They're definitely a Christmas staple in other parts of the world, but maybe not so much so here in the US where I'm located. We also have a ham dinner. It's very nice looking. This is all one piece on the platter, but it does have some nice detailing on it. We also have a lamb dinner. And we are quickly running out of space here. We have pumpkin pie. This set came with 3 presents. When out of the box, they were all attached, but they do have these nice little slots so that you can slide the presents apart, and we could put that under the Christmas tree in our Barbie house. We also have wafer twists, like Pyroline wafers. And we have a fruit cake. This is all one piece. A Christmas cracker. And if you've never been to the UK, you might not understand what a Christmas cracker is. It's a little thing that you pull apart, and there are little toys inside. So it's a fun Christmas tradition. We get 2 donuts. This one here is frosted to look like a Christmas tree. And this one looks a little bit like a snowman. I think we're going to have to bring in an additional table to put everything here. I was hoping we could open a few boxes before bringing in the table, but we also get a box of hot cocoa mix. This is just an empty box, but that will look nice on the counter or table in the Barbie house. Get a little jar of sprinkles. We have a frosting bag so that Barbie and her family can use that to decorate the cookies that they're making. And here are 2 sugar cookies that the Roberts family have frosted. And we have a little stack of what look like chocolate chip cookies. And we get a glass of milk. That's a pretty good size. One of the things that I have noticed with the teeny tiny sets is sometimes the items can trend a bit on the small side. We also get a mug of hot cocoa with looks like a little straw and a chocolate piece in there. And that looks like it is a good size for Barbie. And we get the dish of macaroni and cheese. This is just a little sticker on top. Let me know in the comments below, what kind of dishes do you like to have for your holiday dinners? Okay, our next set I'm bringing in. I'm trying to not spill everything. We have the farmer's market. And the first item that we get is the market stand. These little pieces here are removable. So if you wanted to just get the produce that comes in the set and skip the farmer's market, then you could possibly use these in the Barbie house as little organizing bins. We do get a really nice assortment of vegetables in this set. You also get a little bag that says thank you. It is plastic, but it is open at the top so that we can put our vegetables in there. We get 2 very nice looking pumpkins. I'm thinking we're going to have to use those in our Barbie house for Halloween decorations. A little scale here. Now, since we didn't have the Barbie house set up for this year, I didn't do any Halloween decorations. 2 broccolis, those are actually really nice. But we're hoping that we have the Barbie house set up in time for Halloween and the other holidays for 2025. So we're going to set up decorations for then. We get 2 crates, an empty crate and one that has strawberries. The strawberries themselves are pretty nice looking, but then the rest of this is just a little block. But it is removable, so I think that the crates would look nice in the Barbie kitchen, or maybe I'm thinking we need to do a Barbie greenhouse in the Roberts house, so those crates could be useful in that, or in the Barbie kitchen. We have a bunch of asparagus, an eggplant or aubergine. We have a head of lettuce and a cauliflower. Those are actually pretty nice. Sometimes the food items that you get from Five Below Teeny Tinies are not made very well, but these actually look very nice and detailed. You have a corn on the cob. Let's put that on top of our mac and cheese. We also get a basil plant, and if you can see, the label on my plant is actually on upside down. So we're going to have to fix that before we put it into the Barbie house. We get 2 cucumbers, a jar of honey, and a nice little bulb of garlic. And at first I thought this was maybe supposed to be a bell pepper, but the box identifies it as being a mango. So a little something different for the farmer's market. Okay, and our next set, we are bringing in the charcuterie board. And let's move our farm stand out of the way. Here is the background for this one. It shows a living room. That could be good decorating inspo. The main thing that we have is the charcuterie board, and it has a painted wood texture on the front, but there's a real wood texture, so if you wanted to flip this over, and this might make it a little bit easier to keep everything from rolling around on it. So we're going to put that there. Now these items were definitely some things that I needed the explanation to see what they were. So we have the sopressata, the prosciutto, Genoa salami, thyme and olive oil crackers, smoked cheddar. We have a wheel of brie with a slice cut out. It's actually pretty nice looking. And a wedge of Gouda. It's only painted on one side. The other side is a red-orange color, so that's the side that we want to have up here. We have some multi-grain crackers. These are actually painted pretty nice, and maybe a sticker that they're using, but they have a nice texture to them. And the cracked pepper crackers as well look very nice. And we have sharp cheddar and a cheese and cracker tray. This is all one piece, so these are molded on here, but we can add this next to our charcuterie board. We also have a wedge of espresso Asiago cheese. So they're getting very specific as to exactly what kind of cheese here. We get two nice little tools here to serve our cheese with. And these are actually a good size for Barbie. Like I was saying, sometimes the items can be a bit small for our 1/6 scale dolls. We have a bunch of grapes. And this is described as being blueberry goat cheese. So again, very specific kind of cheese. This is listed as fig spread. And we have cornichons. That was one that I couldn't figure out what it was until I looked at the information on the back of the box. And blackberries. Mine seem to only be painted on the top. The sides are still kind of white. So maybe we can touch that up with a marker or a little bit of paint to make them look a little bit better for doing our charcuterie board with the Roberts family. Our next one is the Greek food. And this is listed as the World Traveler Edition. So maybe Teeny Tinies has some other types of food that would be fun for us to try out. And we have a nice little background that shows a Greek village, it looks like. And we are very much running out of space here, so I am going to have to try to consolidate things a little bit. Let's drop our cucumbers in here, and the honey, garlic. Can we fit the asparagus in there? And we'll put our charcuterie boards together. Get us a little bit more space here on the table. Okay, so probably the largest item from the Greek food set is what they are calling the vertical rotisserie. So this would be where you get your shawarma or meat for heroes. So it's not very detailed, but if we were doing, say, Okay, we're back. I had to clear up some memory on my camera, but that did give me a chance to do some rearranging with our food here so that we have a little bit more space to work with. So we'll finish up with the Greek food. We have octopus, a Greek salad. It's very nice looking there. Good painting job. Plate of spanakopita. We have some tzatziki sauce. Two kebabs, or souvlaki. And we have two different kinds of gyros. One is supposed to be pork and the other vegetarian. Actually, they look the same to me. Maybe a slight difference. We have a very nice looking knife here. I think the Barbies would be able to use that in cutting meat from the rotisserie. We have some feta and olive oil. And a lemon wedge. A tiny little bowl of Kalamata olives. And then this is just called a dish on the back of the box there. So it doesn't look like an empty bowl to me. Maybe it is supposed to be filled with our olive oil that we have there. But we'll take a look at our next box. Peelings fell off. So our next set is the Sweet Shop, and this one is kind of designed to be set up sort of like an ice cream shop. Here's the background for this one. So we have a little case. Let's put that there for now. And then it comes with 6 different types of gelato. These are actually pretty nicely textured, at least for some of them. The vanilla is just sort of a sticker there. But the gelatos go into the case here. Let's move that down here. Then we have cotton candy. And this is a soft serve dessert, which is rolling off their table. And a pretty nice looking slice of cake here. It's actually painted on both sides, which is not always the thing for the teeny tinies. We have a bowl of gelato. It has a nice little label on the front for the cup. 2 different types of ice cream sandwiches, and the chocolate chip cookie one is textured on both sides, so that's a good touch for that one. We have a frappe. That is also a good size for Barbie. Sometimes the beverages are really small for teeny tinies. We have an ice cream sundae. There we go. And a snow cone. Hard serve ice cream. Be nice if we had some sort of way of holding these up. We have 2 ice pops, and this one is actually painted on both sides. Sometimes the teeny tinies are only painted on one side. And a tiny little ice cream scoop. Like I was saying before, the scale for teeny tinies, it is often pretty good for 1/6 scale dolls, but other times items will kind of trend on the smaller side. And our last set is the 90s lunchbox. Now here is definitely an example of a time when the teeny tinies are trending a bit on the large side. Here's the background for this one. It looks like a school lunch tray or maybe a Lunchables, since we are going with the 90s theme. Now the items in this one are a bit on the large side, or at least some of them are. We have crafted cuisine, like a Lunchable, and it is a little bit sculpted, so even though this is just a sticker on front, at least we have a little bit of shape to it, so it's not just a plastic box. So, and we have this can of soda, and it does actually have a little pop top on the top, so good texturing. And then we have cookie dip and cracker dip. So these are also made to look a little bit more realistic than just a box. The bubble gum, however, is just a piece of plastic with a sticker on it. And then we have a juice box and a bottle of juice. So those are a good size for lunch. And we have fruit punch, and then some candies. They say sour squeeze on them. So it's meant to be a sour candy. A lollipop ring and fruity gummy. More candy, but they're slightly shaped, but basically a piece of plastic with a sticker on them. And this is called a granola bar, even though it looks a little bit more like a candy bar to me. And pretty good shape to that one as well. We have a pudding cup, and then this is labeled ice cream. So somebody got something good in their lunch. And a brownie. And a yogurt cluster bar. Cheese bites. So now let's talk about the big items that came in this set. So here's the lunch box. And let's see if it can open. I haven't tried this yet. Seems like it should open here. There we go. Oh, and it's actually segmented too, so that way we could put items in here and separate them. It's super big, even for Barbie. When I originally got this, I was thinking maybe it would work for Chelsea, but you can see how huge this is compared to a Chelsea doll. And it's even big for Skipper too. So this would be more like, I don't know, a case, maybe a suitcase, or maybe we could use it for a musical instrument on here. It's definitely too large to be a lunchbox. And then we also have the thermos. This is huge for Chelsea. I did like the fact that the lid comes off, so you could use the cup for it, but it's still really big to be a cup for Chelsea and even for Barbie and the other dolls. Now, it might be a good size for a smart doll. I don't actually have a smart doll, so we wouldn't be able to check the scale for that, but it's so large, I think it would probably work for a smart doll. But I had hoped that this would be a good set to use for Chelsea, but with the lunchbox and the thermos are much too large. But the other items, like the juice and the candy and everything, are a good size for Barbie and for Chelsea and the other dolls. So we at least have that. Okay, so let me know in the comments below which of these sets were your favorite. I'm thinking we need to definitely get the holiday set out and have the Roberts family do some baking and holiday cooking, and they can do a charcuterie board as part of their holiday plans. We definitely have plenty of produce that can be used for cooking and making our holiday meal for the Roberts family. And maybe they'll have a little bit of Greek food as well as desserts. So let me know in the comments below what you think of these new sets from Teeny Tinies. Do you have any other Teeny Tiny sets? Which of them do you like best? Should we check out any others on our channel here? So thanks for watching, and please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really does help our channel to grow. And if you would like a chance of getting a shout out in a future video, just comment below with the hashtag #InfluencerBarbie. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in our next video. Bye-bye!